Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the world of a man who wasn't just rich, he was, well, practically a force of nature in the South Pacific.
We're talking about someone who wasn't afraid to tangle with pirates, outfox clever con artists, stare down hurricanes.
Exactly, and not just for the money, right? It was about the thrill, the challenge, but also this really deep sense of justice.
Absolutely. He's a figure who tells us so much about resilience, about navigating these really wild frontiers.
And that figure is David Grief, the son of the sun,
Yeah.
from Jack London's famous collection of stories. That's our focus for this deep dive.
Right. And what we want to do today is really unpack some of Grief's biggest, most telling adventures. We'll look at the crazy challenges he faced, the pretty unique ways he dealt with them.
And the impact he had, right? On the people, the places.
Definitely. The goal here is to get some insights into, well, resilience, like I said, but also problem solving under pressure and just the whole fascinating cultural mix of the South Pacific back then, early 20th century.
So if you're listening and you're thinking, how could one guy handle all that? Juggling sharp business skills with this kind of unwavering moral code.
Then yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Our main source is Jack London's A Son of the Sun. These stories, they really paint this incredibly vivid picture of grief and his world. It's almost like London's writing itself helps set the scene for every adventure we're going to explore.
It really does. The context is baked right in.
Okay, let's jump into the first one, the Willie Watt incident. This is a serious lesson in high stakes.
Yeah.
Well, nerve, really. Set in the Solomon Islands. Super hot.
Oh, the heat is palpable. London describes the ketch, the Willie Watt, anchored in this narrow passage between reefs, Anna Island.
Yeah, the water's like glass. There's this low murmur of a lazy surf. Sounds peaceful.
But it's not. The air is thick, oppressive. Someone says, 8 o'clock and hell don't get hot till noon.
You feel it. The deck's like heated brass.
Maybe just picture the sweat, the stillness before everything breaks loose. And that heat isn't just window dressing, it's crucial context. It affects everything. The men's health, their tempers.
Malaria is a constant threat, right?
Huge threat. You see Jacobson, the mate, taking this massive 50-grain dose of quinine, just dry, no water. That tells you something about the conditions.
Yeah, it's not exactly a luxury cruise. This kind of constant physical stress, it definitely plays into what happens next. Makes people volatile.
Precisely. Which brings us to the main players here.
Right. You've got Harrison J. Griffiths, the skipper of the Willie Watt, described as a lean, dark-eyed man. He's sick with fever, desperate for whiskey, terrified of his next malaria chill.
And his main goal, his only goal really, is to get away without paying David Grief the 1,200 pounds he owes him.
A significant chunk of change back then. And he's got his mate, Jacobson, the slender German, who's also sick, but clearly in on the plan.
Yeah, complicit. And then onto this tense scene steps David Grief.
Instantly recognizable, apparently. The unmistakable sombrero.
And this calm demeanor that just seems to radiate confidence, maybe even danger. Griffiths is immediately spooked.
Grief's goal is simple. Collect the debt.
But Griffiths is the obstacle. He has absolutely no intention of paying. He thinks he can just sail off.
Setting up this direct conflict, it's not just about the money for Grief, is it? It feels like it's about order, about making agreements stick, even out here.
Exactly. It's about principle in a place where principles are often flexible.
So Griffiths tries to play it cool, tries this pretty weak deception.
Right. Pretends he's broke, even offers Grief a drink knowing he hasn't got any whiskey left. It's all a front while he's planning to just vanish.
Like a flimsy house of cards, you said. He completely underestimates who he's dealing with.
Massively. He's boasting to Jacobson, thinks he can just clear the Solomons without paying. He genuinely believes he can outsmart Grief.
Big mistake.
Huge, because Grief isn't just a tough guy. He's smart. He's prepared. He pulls out this Admiralty warrant.
Which sounds serious. What exactly is that?
It's basically a legal nuke in maritime law. It's a court order to seize the ship, and crucially, it's valid anywhere. International waters, doesn't matter.
Wow, so Griffith's escape plan just evaporates.
Instantly. And the irony is, London tells us Griffiths was just bragging about selling his plantations for like 300,000 pounds.
And now he's trying to cheat Grief out of 1,200, calling Grief a Shylock for asking for what's owed.
It shows you his character, doesn't it? Arrogant, dishonest to the core. Grief's legal move just completely exposes him.
Okay, so the tension must be through the roof now. Griffiths realizes he's cornered.
He is. So he shifts tactics. He lures Grief down into his cabin, says he'll pay up.
But it's a trap.
A deadly one. Griffiths grabs a rifle, forces Grief to read this pre-written receipt. The idea is to make it look like Grief was paid, basically stealing the debt back.
That's desperate
Yeah.
and incredibly dangerous for Grief.
It is, but this is where Grief's composure is just astonishing. London describes him reading the paper while his left hand is making this incredibly slow crawl towards a gun hidden under a pillow.
Left hand. He's thinking about left-handed shooting even then.
Yeah, left-handed snap shooting, London writes. It shows you his mind is working tactically, even with a rifle pointed at him. Amazing calm.
Then things explode, right?
Literally. The catch heals, Griffith stumbles slightly, the rifle wavers.
And Grief makes his move.
Both guns go off almost at the same time, rifle and revolver. Grief feels a bullet just sears across his shoulder.
Ouch. Close call.
Incredibly close. And his own shot, aimed at Griffith's head, misses. That simultaneous shot, that's one of those completely unexpected dangers you face.
So, wounded, gunfight erupting in a tiny cabin.
Yeah.
What does Grief do?
Pure instinct in action. He makes this cat-like leap, tackles Griffiths, shoves his own revolver right into Griffith's gut. Close quarters, brutal.
Trying to regain control, stop the immediate threat.
Exactly. It's about survival, but also about not letting Griffiths win, not letting the injustice stand. And then Jacobson, the mate, jumps in with his revolver.
Oh man, it just keeps escalating.
It does. So Grief makes another split-second calculation. Still tangled up with Griffiths, he just launches them both overboard.
Into the water. Wall grappling.
Yep. Hits the water, uses his knees to break Griffith's hold, pushes him down, and surfaces himself. It's an amazing survival technique.
But Jacobson's still up there on deck.
Firing down at him, shot splashing right next to Grief's head. He has to dive again.
Unbelievable.
Swims underwater, just trying to get clear until he sees the paddles of his own canoe waiting nearby. That's his escape.
Wow. Just, wow. So what's the fallout from all this?
Grief makes it to his canoe, yells at his boys, "Washy, washy, make her and beach, quick fella time." They paddle like mad for the shore.
Bullets kicking up sand around them as they run into the jungle.
Right, and the Willy Wah, it has to stop dead in the water to pick up Griffiths, who's floundering around.
Giving Grief the head start he needs, Griffiths is foiled, left soaking wet and furious.
Exactly, and this is maybe the most telling part about Grief's character, the real lesson in resolve here. He gets away, shoulder stinging from the bullet graze, and he laughs.
He laughs after almost being killed.
Yep, laughs at the too much cross skipper. It's not just being tough, it's like a mental strategy. He doesn't let the fear or the anger linger. He processes it, finds the absurdity, and moves on.
Wow.
That kind of resilience is key out there.
That ability to just shake it off and keep going, incredible. Okay, from that intense physical confrontation, we move to something different but equally fascinating. The Goat of Aloysius Pankburn. This one's more about internal battles, redemption, and buried gold.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of struggle. We meet Aloysius Pankburn, and he's this figure of contradictions.
London paints him vividly, right? Well-built young man of 30, well-featured, well-dressed, looks like he has it all together.
On the surface. But Grief immediately sees the unmistakable marks of the chronic alcoholic, the shaking hands, spilling liquor, the nervous, vacillating eyes.
It's a sad picture, especially when you learn about his background.
It really is. This guy isn't just some bum. He's highly educated, York and Yale, Master of Arts, Doctor of Philosophy.
An incredible athlete.
Yeah.
Swan diving 110 feet, swimming 30 miles in rough seas. That's almost superhuman.
Absolutely. Yet he's completely undone by whiskey. Grief calls him a fish, says he's punished more whiskey than any man of his years.
And Grief finds him in this really pathetic state, right? Crying drunk on deck.
Yeah, watching his business manager and his nurse, who are supposed to be looking after him, controlling his money and his booze, basically lollygagging together, it's humiliating.
You can see why Grief would be interested. It's a unique situation, as he calls it. A man with so much potential, completely enslaved.
Right. Grief sees a challenge there, maybe a chance for something remarkable. Pankburn's addiction becomes the central obstacle, far more significant than any buried treasure.
Speaking of treasure, that's the hook that brings them together, isn't it? Pankburn has this story.
A fragmented, drunken story initially, about his father, a midshipman back in 1866 on the HMS Suwannee. His father saw 3 weird copper spikes behind a bar somewhere called Pinu Pini.
Just a random detail, but Grief recognizes the place.
Exactly. Grief's knowledge of the islands is encyclopedic. That detail connects to a much bigger, older story.
The Ecuadorian treasure chest story.
That's the one. About $1 million in gold, English coins, put on a schooner, the Flirt, during a revolution in Ecuador for safekeeping.
But the captain stole it?
Yep. Sailed off with it, got caught somewhere between the Banks group and the New Hebrides. What happened to the crew is murky, tortured, hanged. Nobody knows for sure.
But somehow, one guy, Johnny Black, ends up with these 3 copper spikes at German Oscar's bar.
Right. And Pankburn eventually provides the missing link. Johnny Black, before he died, told Pankburn's father about the spikes. Why? Because Pankburn's dad had saved Black's life in Valparaiso years earlier.
So the spikes mark the treasure. The fragmented stories finally click together.
It's a great piece of narrative construction by London, weaving together history, personal stories, revolution. It makes the treasure feel real, earned.
So Pankburn puts out this ad, basically looking for someone to take him to find his 5 million francs worth of treasure.
Which is, a bit of a desperate move from an alcoholic. But Grief sees it, and his reaction is immediate. Get the crew for the whaleboat. I'm going ashore.
Straight into action. No messing about.
And this is where Grief's unconventional rehabilitation program begins. It's really something else.
Tough love doesn't even begin to cover it, does it?
Not really. Pankburn is a wreck, shaking pitiably. Grief gives him one small drink just to steady him, then lays down the law. Absolutely, under my orders. No drink. Work hard. Sailors work.
And he means hard work.
Oh, yeah. The dirtiest jobs. Scraping masts, holy stoning decks, which is brutal, scrubbing wood with sandstone.
Scrubbing the ship's copper bottom underwater with the native divers. Drinking coconut water instead of booze.
Total physical and mental reset. Grief watches him, sees the change, eventually tells him, "You are twice the man you were when you came on board."
But it wasn't easy for Pankburn. There were relapses.
Definitely. London talks about his heroic sufferings during withdrawal, and in Apea, he falls off the wagon spectacularly, tries to drink the town dry.
And Grief's reaction is intense.
Brutal, honestly. A physical beating. Then, maybe even worse psychologically, this incredibly tedious, back-breaking task. Pounding, sanding, and painting 150 fathoms, that's 900 feet of rusty anchor chain.
Just relentless, repetitive labor, designed to break him down completely.
Break down the addiction, maybe. Force him to confront himself through sheer exhaustion. It's a shocking method by today's standards, but within the story's context.
It works. It leads to this breakthrough moment for Pankburn.
It does. After the chain ordeal, he's changed. He tells Grief, "I'm not going to take another drop. I see the point, but I'm going to go right on and shape myself up just the same." He's taking ownership.
And Grief's response is surprisingly warm, isn't it?
Very. Pankburn, I love you right now for that. It shows Grief's methods, however harsh, came from a place of wanting to see the man succeed, to reclaim himself. It's a powerful moment of transformation.
Okay, so Pankburn is sober, focused. They head for Francis Island to find the treasure.
And Francis Island is not welcoming. It's this deep and narrow indentation, mangrove, steep jungle, known for warlike and treacherous Melanesian cannibals.
Not exactly a tourist spot. Grief knows the danger is real.
Immediately. I'll wager that Bush is alive with men right now. His first move is interesting, using dynamite to fish.
Which seems counterintuitive if you want to be quiet.
It's a calculated risk. It flushes them out. As soon as the dynamite goes off, wild yells of defiance and black and naked bodies leap out from the jungle. The threat is confirmed.
So, surrounded by potentially hostile warriors.
Oh.
How does Grief handle it?
Not with guns blazing. That's key.
Yeah.
He understands the situation requires diplomacy, or at least a different kind of currency. He tells his men, "Put down your guns, Mr. Albright. Toss the tobacco to that one-eyed brute."
Tobacco. A valuable trade good. De-escalation through offering something desirable.
Exactly. Change the whole dynamic, and soon old One Eye, the chief, shows up. He's quite a sight.
Covered in gold sovereigns around his neck. Silver coins in his ears.
But the crucial detail is the tarnished green English penny stuck in his nose.
Ah, the penny. This is where Pankburn, the sober, sharp Pankburn, has his brilliant idea.
His moment of genius. He observes the chief and understands their value system is completely inverted from a European perspective. He tells Grief, basically, they'll treasure the pennies as rare and priceless and see the gold sovereigns as common, less valuable.
So they should trade cheap tobacco for the sovereigns.
Precisely. They'll hang on to the pennies and force us to trade for sovereigns.
It's a stunning insight into cultural context. Grief is thrilled. Pankburn, I drink your health.
And they proceed to do just that. A golden week of trade.
Carefully, one canoe at a time. 5 gold sovereigns for 1 stick of tobacco, 100 sovereigns for 20 sticks. They're basically getting thousands of dollars in gold for pennies worth of tobacco.
Because they understand what the locals actually value. It's a masterclass in cultural economics, you might say.
But it can't last forever.
No. Eventually, the tobacco runs low, and maybe the natives start getting wise, demanding more tobacco for less gold, even wanting 20 sticks for a penny.
So Grief knows when to quit while he's ahead.
Always. He packs up with about $800,000 in gold. An immense fortune leaves the rest, maybe planning to come back later.
It really hammers home that point about perceived value, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How our assumptions can be completely wrong in a different context.
Absolutely. And it shows Pinkburn's incredible turnaround. He went from rock bottom to providing the key insight that unlocked the treasure. It's a huge impact on him and obviously a financial windfall thanks to Grief's strategy and Pinkburn's sharp mind.
Okay, next up, the Devils of Fuatino. This one feels different again. More personal for Grief, maybe. A real fight for freedom.
Definitely more personal. Frontino is introduced as this idyllic Love Island, beautiful tropic night, but there's great trouble. Geographically, it's interesting too. A horseshoe island, sheer rock cliffs forming the sides, and this really dangerous, narrow passage as the only way in.
And Grief has ties there, right? That's why it's significant for him.
Crucial ties. He has a blood brother, Moriri, known as the Goat Man.
The Goat Man. Because he can climb like one.
Exactly. He has this almost unbelievable ability to scale the island's sheer cliffs, even at night. It's a unique skill that becomes vital later. So yeah, when Fuatino is in trouble, Grief isn't just thinking about business. He's thinking about family, about loyalty. It raises the stakes considerably.
So what is the trouble? How does it start?
It starts violently. Murray makes this incredibly dangerous swim out to Grief's ship before dawn. The message is grim. Great trouble has come upon us. Much killing.
Pirates?
Essentially, yes. A strange schooner, the Valletta, has arrived with 8 white men. The leaders are Raoul van Asveld, and Carl Lepsius Maury calls them devils. They speak French.
And they're terrorizing the island.
Completely. They don't pay for supplies, they just take. If anyone complains, they get killed. And worse, Maury says, they ill-treat our women. Grief's own trader there, Pilsack, was shot twice trying to stop them assaulting a woman.
Awful. Just brutal thugs.
And it gets darker. Hairlip, the Valletta's cook who was forced into service, confirms the horror story. The original captain, Dupuy, was murdered by these guys. Half the original crew poisoned, others shot trying to escape.
And they picked up reinforcements.
Yeah, jailmen from Noumea, hardened criminals. So, Raoul van Asveld's goal is simple. Take control of Fuatino by sheer force. The obstacles are the terrified natives, and now, David Grief.
Who is not going to stand for this, especially with his blood brother involved.
Not a chance. Grief's strategy relies on his knowledge of the place and his people. First move, arm the islanders. Big brother, we need guns and much ammunition.
Give them the means to fight back.
Exactly. And this is where Murray's unique skill becomes the cornerstone of the defense. The Big Rock, this massive cliff formation.
The one only Moriri can climb safely at night.
That's the one. It's incredibly treacherous, 100-foot deep crevices, a 10-foot leap over a sheer drop. But Moriri can navigate it.
So they turn it into a fortress.
An impregnable one. Grief and Maury haul a ton of dynamite up there. From that position, they command the entire lagoon. They can hold off 10,000.
They've effectively bottled the pirates up inside the horseshoe.
Completely. Grief proves it dramatically. When the Valletta tries to sneak out, Grief drops dynamite nearby, sinking the schooner. Message sent. You're trapped.
Total control from the high ground. Classic strategy, amplified by dynamite and local knowledge.
Right. So Raoul van Asveld, realizing he's stuck, calls for a parley, a negotiation.
And Murray just wants to kill him,
Yeah.
right? The big devil.
Understandably. But Grief insists on accepting the parley. He says it's our way not to break our word, even with a monster like Raoul.
That seems risky. Why honor a promise to someone so dishonorable?
It's a core part of Grief's character, and maybe his strategy too. His reputation for integrity, even in the roughest corners of the Pacific, is powerful. Breaking his word, even to a pirate, might undermine that in the long run. It's about maintaining his own code.
So they meet. What's Raoul like?
London describes him as impressive, physically, tall, slender, well-knit, with keen and strong eyes, full of strength. But Grief senses something missing, the intangible something the man lacked. Maybe a soul. He calls Raoul an intelligent pirate and murderer, acknowledges the cunning, condemns the evil.
And there's a bit of a mind game during the parley.
Definitely. Raoul wastes precious water washing himself, trying to gauge how desperate Grief's party is for supplies up on the rock.
And Grief plays along.
Oh yeah. offers him shark meat, squid, sea urchins, basic survival fare, and apologizes for having no frigate bird, deliberately making their situation seem tougher than it might be. They even have this odd conversation about fighting for empires versus just enforcing colonial rules.
It's a tense standoff, full of psychological maneuvering. Grief sticking to his principles, even here.
It's fascinating. His moral compass is unwavering, even when it might seem tactically disadvantageous.
So the parley fails, presumably. How does it end? It sounds like it has to end violently.
It does. Raoul makes a desperate escape attempt on another boat, the Rattler, and he does something despicable. He uses a captive island woman, Namu, as a human shield.
Thinking Grief wouldn't risk shooting her. Vile.
Truly. But Grief, Mariri, and another islander, Taha, coordinate perfectly from the big rock. It's incredible timing and skill.
What do they do?
Mariri shouts to Namu, tells her to break free at a specific moment. As she does, Grief, from 300 feet up, drops the big bundle of dynamite. Simultaneously, Taha takes a rifle shot.
Timed perfectly.
Perfectly. The dynamite explodes at the instant the deck was reached. It obliterates Raoul, his brother, and tragically, Namu is caught in the blast as well.
Oh no, so she doesn't make it clear.
She doesn't. It's a devastating, high-stakes gamble with a tragic cost. The Rattler is wrecked, but not totally destroyed.
Futino is free, but at a price.
Exactly. Queen Matara says it powerfully. Namu is gone, but Futino is ours again. The day is young. The islanders are liberated. A new feast is planned.
So Grief's actions, combining strategy, local knowledge, that unique skill of Mariri's, and ultimately decisive, ruthless force, saves the island.
It leaves a huge impact on Futino's history. Justice is served, albeit brutally, and Grief reinforces his role as a protector, someone who enforces a kind of rough justice where official law barely exists.
Okay, our last story for this deep dive is The Pearls of Parley. This one sounds like it pits Grief against nature itself, as well as human darkness.
It really does. It starts with a navigational problem, actually. Grief's ship, the Uncle Toby, has lost its chronometer, crucial for finding longitude, and they've just scraped through a hurricane. They stumble upon this seemingly uncharted atoll.
Which has multiple names, Lulu, Hikio, or Parley.
Right. That confusion kind of foreshadows the tangled history and sorrow attached to the place. The atoll is currently ruled, in a sense, by Parley.
And he's a tragic figure, isn't he?
Deeply tragic. London describes him as a withered wreck, feverish, eyes sunken. He's a Frenchman who married the island's native queen years ago.
And he had a daughter, Armande.
Yes, mixed race. He sent her off to France for top-notch education, hoping to give her the best of both worlds. But when she came back to the Pacific, to Papiet...
She faced racism, the color line.
Exactly. Brutal prejudice from the white colonial society. It devastated her, and she committed suicide.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. And it broke Parley.
Completely shattered his mind. He now hates white men intensely, yet clings to this delusion that Armande is still alive, that she'll return. It's a story steeped in grief, prejudice, and the dangerous lure of wealth.
Because Parley has pearls. A lot of pearls.
An incredible amount. He decides to hold an auction, drawing ships and buyers from all over. We're talking pearls worth 50 or 60,000 pounds collectively, maybe more. One pearl alone with 60,000 francs.
But there's a dark history to them. Many dead men lie on the table there.
Yeah, London hints that acquiring these pearls involved violence and death over the years. They're tainted. And as the buyers gather, obsessed with the potential riches, the weather starts to turn.
Ominous signs of another storm.
Unmistakable signs. The barometer plummets. There's this weird, uncanny phenomenon of huge waves breaking over the atoll, even though there's no wind yet, a rising sea and a dead calm.
The calm before the storm, literally. And the air gets heavy, dark.
Sultry oppressiveness. The sky thickens to a late twilight darkness. Classic hurricane warnings.
But the pearl buyers ignore them.
Completely blinded by greed. Parley, the Mad King, actually tries to warn them. He understands the local weather patterns, talks about the hurricane's sharp curve in this region.
To the eastward, the paths make a straight line. To the westward, here they make a sharp curve.
He knows what's coming.
He knows exactly what's coming, but they just laugh at him, this croaking old man. Their greed makes them ignore the obvious, deadly danger.
So nature's fury is about to hit, but there's also human treachery brewing, right? Yes, this nasty subplot involving Nari Herring, a half-caste captain. He plots to steal the pearls by killing Parley.
The bean drawing scheme. forcing someone to be the killer.
Exactly. A really dark plan. He gets Parley and 3 Kanaka Islanders, makes them draw beans, but all the beans are black, meaning whoever drew was supposed to kill Parley. Utterly cold-blooded.
But the hurricane interrupts.
Right as they're about to carry it out, the storm hits with full force. Nature intervenes violently. They have to abandon the plot and just try to survive, lashing themselves to trees.
There's that grim quote, isn't there? Someone saying they'd rather face the storm than the heat.
Yeah, Herman grunts, "If she blow, I would as be cooler yet," because the pre-storm calm is so suffocating. Then London describes the hurricane hitting in 2 waves, the doubleheader.
That eerie calm in the eye of the storm.
Where grief lights a match and the flame doesn't even flicker, it's dead still. Then the wind returns with unimaginable fury.
Tearing ships apart.
Absolutely. The Malahini, Grief's ship, is jerked to her anchors, the deck vibrating, rigging screaming. Mulhall, the supercargo, tries to breathe and feels his lungs forcibly filled with air he can't exhale. It's a physical assault. Other ships drag, anchor, collide, disintegrate.
Just chaos and destruction. How do Grief and his crew survive?
Pure skill, determination, and maybe some luck. Captain Warfield and Grief make a crucial decision. Keep the ship's engine running full speed ahead.
Not to go anywhere, but to fight the drag on the anchors.
Exactly, to relieve the strain, to hold their position against the incredible force. And Grief himself is down in the engine room.
Getting hands on.
Totally. Naked to the waist, covered with grease and oil, bruised and skinned, fighting this mechanical monster, keeping the engine going. It shows his leadership, his willingness to do whatever it takes, his mechanical aptitude even.
Incredible resilience under extreme pressure.
Truly. Then, in the aftermath, more drama unfolds.
One of Nari Herring's own crew swims over to warn Grief.
Yeah, Taiho Tari swims through the churning water, risking his life to expose Nari's plot to steal the pearls even amidst the wreckage. Loyalty trumping treachery.
So Nari tries to board Grief's ship.
He does, comes aboard naked, armed, ready to take the pearls, but Captain Warfield just grabs him and throws him straight overboard. End of plot.
And Parley, what happens to him?
They find him near death, horribly injured. All his ribs are smashed, his mind is still partly gone, his last words are haunting.
Don't forget, the auction. At 10 o'clock in hell.
Chilling. A tragic end. The storm has devastated, the atoll ship's gone, house destroyed, trees snapped.
So the storm is almost like a character itself, delivering a kind of violent judgment.
You could see it that way. It acts like this massive, brutal cleansing force. It wipes out the greed, the treachery, the tragic figure of Parley and his madness.
Nari fails, Parley dies, Grief survives.
Grief and his crew survive, profoundly marked by the experience, no doubt. It's a testament to their skill, their ship, and the sheer, terrifying power of nature. It really highlights the extreme dangers, the need for survival skills, and the deep psychological impact of facing such events.
Wow. So looking back across these adventures, the Willy Waw, Pankburn, Fautino, Parley, David Grief is just, well, he's a lot of things, isn't he?
He really is. He's not just a businessman. He's a detective, a diplomat, certainly a fighter, even a rehabilitator, like we saw with Pankburn, and definitely a survivor.
Yeah, there's this blend of loving adventure for its own sake, but also this really strong sense of justice and this incredible ability to adapt to anything.
Absolutely. So if we try to pull out some key takeaways from this deep dive for you, the listener, what stands out?
Well, definitely the importance of understanding different cultures, different value systems. That whole penny versus sovereign thing with Pankburn was brilliant.
Crucial insight. Cultural intelligence as a strategic advantage. Then there's resilience, right? Both physical, like surviving gunfights and hurricanes, but also moral resilience. Sticking to your code even when it's hard, like Grief did in the Parley with Raoul.
Yeah, that mental toughness, being able to laugh after nearly getting killed,
Yeah.
or just push through exhaustion in the engine room.
All right. And also how strategy has to fit the context. What worked against Griffiths wouldn't have worked against the pirates or the hurricane. Grief adapts his approach constantly.
And I guess just the sheer power of adventure itself.
Yeah,
How it tests you, pushes you, maybe even changes you fundamentally.
definitely. These stories show how facing extreme challenges can strip away everything superficial and reveal what really counts: courage, loyalty, ingenuity, integrity.
It really makes you think. We all face challenges, maybe not pirates or hurricanes, but our own complex situations. So the final thought maybe is, if you encountered a situation demanding that kind of David Grief response, that courage, that clear-headedness under pressure, that moral clarity, would you be ready? ready for your own deep dive into what truly matters.
That's a great question to leave people with. Would you be ready for the adventure?
Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.